Hello students, I am Mrs. Divya dealing with the chapter 7 evolution, and this is my 12th video. So previously we have discussed what is adaptive radiation. So in this module we are going to study about biological evolution. So now you may wonder how many times the teacher is telling that evolution, this evolution, and once again now it is biological evolution. So it is not something different from the total evolution what you are studying now. So previously we have discussed different theories suggested by different scientists to what study the origin of life. Yes. So here later on, so those were some of the ancient theories which were given, and which most of them didn't have any scientific basis, right? So later on, again, different scientists, they went on exploring the things and to what give out how actually the evolution or the inheritance of different characters might have taken place. Different theories were again suggested. Okay, so we can say that biological evolution is nothing but the genetic changes in a population. Okay, so we have defined evolution, it is nothing but gradual change in the characteristics, inherited characteristics. So this is not something different, this is just, we can say that, genetic changes. Okay, because later on it was observed by studying different evidences that all that evolution that has occurred, all that changes in the life forms that has occurred, it is mainly because of the genetic changes. Okay, it might be a small or a large change, but which has occurred at the genetic level. Okay, so that leads to the changes in the population, and it will be inherited over several generations. So that is biological evolution. Okay, so different theories again were suggested. As I told you, the most important ones are the Lamarckism or the Lamarck's theory of inheritance of acquired characters. Then we have the Darwinism or Darwin's theory of natural selection. Then Hugo de Vries' mutation theory, and finally the modern concept of evolution. So one by one in detail we'll study these different theories. Okay, so first one, if you take, that is the Lamarck's theory of evolution. So it was Jean Baptiste de Lamarck, who was a French biologist, okay, who gave out this theory. So according to him, he suggested that evolution took place mainly due to certain factors. Okay, what are those factors? Let us see. So one factor is the effect of environment and needs, new needs by the organisms. So he said that the environment is the most prominent to influence all the organisms. Okay, so any changes in the environment will bring about changes in organisms. Got it? If we find any change in the environment, then the organism brings about changes in itself. So changes in environment will give rise to new needs. So according to that new need, that is to adapt to that environment, the organism produces new structures and changes its behavior and habits. Okay, so that was the first point what he suggested. Then next, the important thing, that is use and disuse of what? Organs. Use and disuse of organs. So what is this, students? Lamarck said that if an organ is constantly being used, then it goes on developing more better, okay, in the next generations. Whereas if you don't use any organ, that is disuse of any organ, results in its degeneration. That is, it will not develop, or it will become highly reduced, or it will completely degenerate. That was another thing suggested. Okay, then the next point what he added was inheritance of acquired characters. So whatever an individual acquires, that is whatever new structures he develops or new characters he develops in its lifetime, it might be due to the environmental changes, or it might be due to the need, or it might be due to the use and disuse of the organs. Whatever changes takes place in the organism, it will be transmitted or it will be inherited to the next generations. Got my point? Lamarck said that whatever new things have been inherited by an organism, whatever new changes have taken place in an organism, that will be inherited in the next generations. Okay, so this was Lamarck's theory of evolution. Okay, so this theory is also called as Lamarckism, remember. Right, so what are the key points you have to remember here? One is, main thing is the use and disuse of organs and inheritance of acquired characters. That is why this theory is also called as Lamarck's theory of inheritance of acquired characters. So his theory, he explained this theory by giving an example. Right? So what was the example given? So you know this, how the evolution of giraffe took place actually. You might have heard the story. Yes. So according to Lamarck, the ancestors of giraffe, they were bearing a small neck. Okay, they had a small neck and smaller forelimbs, just like they were like horses. But as they were living in place where there was no surface vegetation, the habitat where they were present, there were only tall trees present there. Okay, there was no surface vegetation, so they couldn't eat down, right? So to feed themselves, what they had to do, they had to stretch their neck and forelimbs to take the leaves, right? So this resulted in the next generations, it resulted in a slight elongation of those parts, right? So this character of them, that is, as they went on stretching their neck and the forelimb, that was acquired in the future generations. Okay, so this was acquired in one generation, and then that went on transmitting to the next generation also. Then finally in the resultant generations, the next species that evolved, they were like having long neck and long forelimbs. So this is the giraffes which are present today, right? So Lamarck gave this theory of inheritance of acquired character. So he said that organisms develop new structures and new behaviors depending upon their needs and depending upon the environment. But was this theory completely accepted? No. It also had some drawbacks. Okay, so what was that? One thing is, he said environmental needs, right? Okay, fine, but will all the organism acquire different characters based on their based on the environment? No, that is doubtful. Okay, then use and disuse of organs can be accepted to certain level, because you have studied the evidences there. We have come across the we have come across the atavism, that is where we get back the ancestral characters, right? Then you have studied about the vestigial organs which have been reduced, so that to certain extent it is proved. But what about this inheritance of acquired character? That was under dispute. Okay, because in some other examples, if you take, such as when you take a rat and cut its tail, for continuously some 10 generations you go on cutting the tail of the rat. Then if you cross the rats, the tailless rats, will the next generation, that is the progeny they produce, will be tailless? No, that did not happen. Another example in human beings I can give you, the boring of the ear pinna. See, Indian women, they bore the ear pinna as well as the nose, right? So you have seen your great grandmothers boring their ear pinna and the nose, even your grandmothers, your mothers as well. But do their progeny, they have they inherited that character? No. Again, you people have to go and bore the ear pinna. Yes. So this was not accepted. Okay, so the Lamarckism was not totally accepted. Got it? So then next, who gave out the next theory? So it was none other than Charles Darwin. Okay, so he was a British naturalist. So students, it was Charles Darwin who postulated the theory of origin of species by natural selection. Okay, so this theory was also called as Darwinism, or the Darwin's theory of natural selection. So as you have studied earlier, when Darwin traveled to Galapagos Islands on a ship named HMS Beagle, right? So there he observed great variations among the organisms that were present in those islands. Okay, both in plants as well as animals. So while he was busy in formulating his theory of natural selection, he also saw a brief essay written by another scientist, that is Alfred Russel Wallace. I think you have heard this name. Where you have heard? In the previous module, students, where you had studied evolution of life forms, a theory. Go back to that video. So there we have come across this name, Alfred Russel Wallace. Who was he? He was a scientist, right? He was a naturalist, and he worked in an island, that is the Malay archipelago. That is also a group of islands. There he made his observations where he could see variations in different plants and animals, and at the same time, like Charles Darwin, he had also come to the same opinion. Both were of the observations of Darwin and Wallace were the same in the two different islands. Okay, so both were of the same opinion when it comes to the evolution. So that is why the credit of natural selection goes to both the scientists, that is Charles Darwin as well as Alfred Russel Wallace. Right. So finally, in November 1859, students, it was Darwin who published his observations and conclusions in the form of a book, that is The Origin of Species by Natural Selection. So it was written by Charles Darwin. Okay. So there, now he gave out how this biological evolution might have taken place. So as I told you, biological evolution, or also called as organic evolution, according to Darwin, it started with the cellular level itself. That is, when you take the early living forms, they had differences in their metabolic capability. Darwin suggested that all the populations or all the different species, they are different in their metabolic capabilities. Okay, all are not typical. Though we say that they are of the same species, all are not identical. They show some or the other variations. So only those that had a superior variation, superior adaptability, only they survive in the changing environment. Right. So this adaptation of them, it results in the formation of new species, students. So for that he took the example of bacteria. Here if you see, here you can see that the microbes such as the bacteria, they multiply rapidly, right, producing millions of individuals within certain hours only. So during the process of this bacterial cell division, changes in the genetic material can occur, right? So hence chances of formation of new genetic varieties is very high here when compared to the other organisms, because the human population here, you see, the rate of reproduction is slower in other organisms when compared to the bacteria. Okay, so evolution of new varieties and species among the higher organisms or among the complex organisms with a long lifespan here, so it is less, that is it takes millions of years, students, because the rate of reproduction is very slow, right? So for the changes to occur here, it takes thousands and might be millions of years when compared to the bacteria. So this what process of evolution, it varies depending upon the lifespan of the organisms. That was one point given by Charles Darwin. So these variations we can see very quick in bacteria when compared to the other organisms, other complex organisms, because the rate of their reproduction is very slow. Yes. So now, how this natural selection might have occurred? Here we can't easily study by taking the example of humans, as I told you, because to observe variation in humans it takes thousands of years. But variations we can see in the bacteria, students, because as the rate of reproduction is much faster. So when you take a colony of bacteria here, consider a colony of bacteria, they are rapidly multiplying in a given culture medium. Okay, think this is the colony A in one culture medium, right? So the ability of the utilizing that nutrients, they have the ability to utilize all the nutrients present in that medium, and they are growing rapidly. They are present in one culture medium. So in this colony, students, there might be some other bacteria also. They might survive in other medium also. Think here you have hundreds of bacteria present, right? So here all are utilizing that medium, nutrient medium, and all are surviving there. So among those bacteria, there might also be any one bacteria which can survive elsewhere also. You got my point? Okay. For example, when you take the example of herbivores and carnivorous animals. So you know that herbivorous animals, they feed only on the plant products, right? But if you take carnivorous animal, but when you take carnivorous animals there, they can survive both feeding on animals as well as plants. So mainly they are carnivorous, right? But if what happens if they don't get any flesh to eat, they can also survive, or they can adapt themselves by eating the plant products. But it is not easy for a herbivorous animal to feed on the flesh, right? So in the same way here, there might be some other bacteria, one bacteria among them, it might be present, or it can develop itself in the other culture medium also. So we'll take another culture medium, okay, say culture medium B, and we'll see, I put some of those bacteria in that another culture medium. Okay, so from culture medium A, we are taking certain bacteria and we are dropping them into the next culture medium B. Got it? So when you see the observations here, we can find that the one which can feed on that medium also, that will survive, right? But the other bacteria which cannot feed on that medium, they die, they don't survive, right? That is their rate of reproduction becomes reduced. Got it? So the individuals, we can say that, who have the ability or fitness, we can call it to be fitness, to utilize the changed nutrient medium, they continue to grow and they multiply. Here you can see they multiply, right? So they establish a new variety there. See, the older variety now slowly reduces, right? And this new variety is growing in a much faster rate. So later the new variety may become prominent, so that will increase, and finally it will replace that old variety. So this in bacteria this will occur within a few days. Yes, but so here, but when you compare that with the higher organisms, can we see that changes taking place? No, because it is taking thousands of years, students. Got my point? Okay, so here we can say that nature selects the individuals having the fitness, that is, ability to survive under suitable conditions. Okay, so here we can say that this B is more fit than compared to the bacteria present in the colony A. So this is called as reproductive fitness, what I had explained you earlier. So this is reproductive fitness, students. Got it? So the adaptive ability of the organisms helps them to survive in any changed environment if the ability has genetic basis. That means if this ability has come in its genes only, then only it will result in a population of fit individuals, because if it is in its gene, then only it is transmitted from one organism to other organism. So you can see that whole of that population will finally become fit. So fitness indicates the ability of the organism to adapt. Then, so that means that population is being selected by nature. Hope you have understood. So this is the mechanism of natural selection according to Charles Darwin. Okay. So hope you have understood, students. From where did he formulate this theory? Charles Darwin. He was very much influenced by another scientist, that is Thomas Malthus. So Thomas Malthus, he said that population increases geometrically, whereas food increases arithmetically. Got my point? According to Thomas Malthus, he suggested that population increases geometrically, whereas food increases arithmetically. Okay, so that is, he stated that human population is increasing, so food production will not be able to keep up with the growth in the human population. So that results in the diseases or the famine, war, or any natural calamities. So he developed an exponential formula to forecast that population growth. This is known as the Malthusian growth model. Okay, so here he says that human population is increasing enormously, but the food needs, they are not increasing. It will be normal, balanced only if both of them meet. But this doesn't happen. Okay, so Charles Darwin was greatly influenced by this population model. So based on this population model, he formulated his theory. Who? Charles Darwin, based on the population growth model given by Thomas Malthus. Who was Thomas Malthus? He was a famous British philosopher and economist, okay, in 18th century. So based on his population model, Charles Darwin, he gave out his theory of natural selection. So where he suggested some postulates. What are postulates, students? They are, we can say, suggestions, okay, or assumptions given by Charles Darwin. That is to explain his theory of origin of species. How origin of species has taken place? It is by natural selection. So he said that natural selection might have occurred due to these postulates or these principles. That is, one is, he said, overproduction or enormous fertility or prodigality of production. Then struggle for existence, variation and heredity, survival of the fittest or natural selection, and origin of new species. Okay. So let us see one by one. First, what he gave out, that is, there is overproduction or enormous fertility is there. So Charles Darwin said that all organisms, they have great potential for reproduction. So they produce more young ones. Okay, so there is enormous fertility, they multiply in a geometric ratio. But some organisms produce more offsprings and some may produce few, but the population size remains constant. Remember children, for example, if you see elephant, these are the slowest breeders, right? They can produce 6 young ones in its lifespan of 100 years. If all young ones of a single female elephant, they survive, if all the young ones survive and they reproduce, we can estimate that there will be 19 million elephants produced in 750 years. But is this happening? Do we find so much population of the elephants? No, that doesn't happen. Though the reproduction rate is this much for its lifespan, they are not increasing at that constant rate. Why they are not increasing? Leave the elephant. If you consider any other smaller organisms, right, who have a higher lifespan, in those organisms also, though we say that they are overproducing or they have a high fertility rate, they multiply in geometric ratio, even then the rate is not as expected. Why? It is because, that is, regardless of the rate of the reproduction, it remains fairly constant. That is, their number remains constant because of the struggle for existence. This is the second postulate what he gave, struggle for existence. Right? So, what is this struggle? See, each and every organism is fighting to fulfill their basic needs. Right? So, according to Darwin, individuals, they multiply in the geometric ratio, but the space and food remains constant, students. That is their basic needs. There is no increase in the food production. There is no increase in the space for shelter, or there is no increase in the other resources required for survival. So all these things are limited. So that is why each and organism has to struggle for its existence. Okay, so they are not liable to increase. So that is why not all the organisms that are produced survive. Got it? So they have to fight continuously. So they may have to fight among themselves. That is, competition takes place among the individuals of the same species. Like cow has to fight with another cow, or the deer has to fight with another deer for the grass. Yes, so this is called as the intraspecific struggle, or they may have to fight. So here in the intraspecific struggle, the struggle is very severe here. Why it is very severe? Because the competition is among the same species, right? And the need and approach of them is the same. Both of them need the same substance. So the fight will be more, right? Then the fight or the struggle may take place between two different species. For example, struggle between cow and a deer for getting grass. So here also individuals compete with each other for food, shelter, and the breeding places, right? Then environmental struggle will be there, that is struggle for living against the adverse environmental conditions, such as you may have to struggle, that is fight to survive in the extreme cold conditions, in the hot conditions, during the earthquakes we have to struggle, during the drought, storm, volcanoes, so any natural calamities. Yes, so continuously the organisms have to fight. students. So because of this, we can see that there is differences between the individuals of the same species. Not all organisms are similar. For example, in a flower, if you take, there is variations in the flower color of garden pea, right? One is purple, one is white. So this variations, that is nothing but it is the differences in the characters between the individuals, right? So according to Darwin, these variations, they might be harmful, sometimes they might be neutral also, or sometimes they may be useful also, right? So we can see variations among group of children of the same parents as well, right? So here Darwin said that only the useful variations will be preserved. Okay, so variations are there among the same species, among the children of the same parents. Okay, so here only the useful variations, they are inherited. Okay, they are passed to different offspring. So that is the third postulate what he gave, variation and heredity, right? So he said that organisms with favorable variations, students, okay, which are useful, which are favorable, only those variations will be passed from one generation to the next generation. The organisms whose variations are unfavorable, they don't survive. Got it? Those organisms cannot survive, right? So that is why he gave the term survival of the fittest. The organisms that possess favorable variations, they succeed in the struggle for existence. Okay, and those organisms will be called as the fittest, students. Got it? So here, for example, you take in your class itself, think 100 students are there. 100 students, all of those 100 students are competing for the NEET exam. So all of them are studying for to approach for the NEET exams, right? But only those students who struggle more, who do more of much of hard work, who study more, only those students are going to crack the NEET exams. So here what is important, you have to struggle for clearing your exams. The one who struggles, only he is fit, right, to write the NEET exam. Got it? So we can say that this is what natural selection. So here nature is selecting the organism who are having favorable variations. The one who is going to struggle, he is fit to write the exam and he is going to crack the exam. He is going to pass in the exam. So the nature has selected that person. Got it? So survival of the fittest is nothing but what? Natural selection. Got it? So in a population where there is overproduction, there is struggle for existence. In this struggle, those with more adaptive characters, students, who is more adapted, will survive, while the others will die even before maturity. So the organisms may die even before maturity, right? Because he is not fit to survive in that environment. Hence, the next generation will arise from the best adapted ones. Organisms tend to become better adapted, so that adaptability goes on increasing, right? So nature selects organisms only with the favorable variations. So they will also inherit those characters which made their parents fittest in the struggle, while organisms with unfavorable variations will have to be reduced. Got it, students? So hence in every generation there is betterment of the developed characters. So as the betterment goes on increasing, new species arise. So Darwin considered that useful variations are transmitted and they appear more prominent, and after some generations these continuous and gradual variations in that possessor, okay, that will form a new species. Got it? So a new species originates by gradual accumulation of favorable variations for a number of generations. Got it, students? So this is what origin of new species according to Darwin. Hope you have understood the concept. And remember, children, in that part NCERT textbook where they have described biological evolution, they have mentioned Lamarck's theory, there is no doubt in that. Then about Thomas Malthus it has been explained, and what these 5 postulates I told you, if you go on reading the textbook clearly, each and every point is explained, okay, but they have not given these headings. Understood? These headings are not given, so you may get confused there, but read that whole concept. So all these points have been covered. Okay, so this is an important question. And another key point what was given by Charles Darwin is, one is, he said, branching descent. What is branching descent? Means descent with modification. Remember, branching descent is, Charles Darwin said that descent means what? Succeeding. Yes, so organisms are being succeeding, that is, next organisms have been forming, generations are being formed with modifications. That was one key point what he gave, and the next key point was natural selection. So this is very important question. So he said that these are the 2 key concepts of origin of species. Okay, remember this point and read the whole concept and make your notes, a brief note, okay, according to the NCERT textbook. Hope you have understood the point, and the next theories I'll explain it in the next module. Thank you very much.